Welcome to the Ancient Way. I'm James.
I'm Marlia. Welcome.
Welcome. The computer's far away. I don't want it so far that I'm like standing on the other end of the room. In the chair, when you sit back in it, let me back here.
It's funny.
Cool. Well, we talked a little bit about
No, go.
No, you first.
No, I really wanted you to lead off with what you felt yesterday at church.
With what I felt at church?
Mm-hmm, that word that you gave, like, during
Oh, yeah.
the transition or whatever.
Uh-huh, yeah. That's been a big thought of mine, but clinging to what the Lord tells you, to his word above all else, even if it doesn't make any kind of sense, if it's completely irrational or even unnatural or illogical. If he tells you something, which this comes down to the importance of like learning and building a relationship with him and knowing his voice. But if you do know it and he tells you something, like, you can kind of bet you can take it to the bank. And that is easier sometimes said than done. But I was kind of inspired by what you were saying, though, about some of the breakthrough and stuff that you've kind of had. Because I know just over time, you've been through the ringer quite a bit, but you've maintained that allegiance to his voice, and you kind of made it through. So that was kind of an inspiration. But I've been seeing kind of like with people and stuff like that and all the many different things that I do, a lot of it seems heavily kind of like a seesaw, but like one side is completely out of balance. And some of the things that I've tried and worked towards doesn't seem to be proving fruitful at all. It seems like everything is just kind of blocked. But with every one of those things, I have a dream, or I have a word, I have something that he's given me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gone so far into it. I don't know if that makes any sense. But I share that story too. I felt that theme of like cling on to his word. It's what DT's been saying in some of his more recent messages about faith. Like, it takes us partnering up with what he says and like almost like paying it your attention, and holding on to it to kind of usher it and bring it in here. Like, if you hold on to it, it will show up. It'll come to pass. But I shared that story I had when I went to the gas station and prayed for the Muslim guy. And, the Lord showed me his hip was damaged. And I said, yeah, I feel like, like you have some pain. I feel like God showed me you had some pain in your right hip and he wants to heal you of it. And the guy's like, I don't have any pain in my hip. He just denied it, just flatly. And it was in that little 2 seconds of a moment that I had to respond. It seemed like a 5-minute, like, okay, let's figure this out. This God, are you talking to me, or am I crazy, or is he lying? Because he's the one that would know. And it was like I had a decision to make. Like, I'm just going to choose. Like, I heard you. I've been practicing this, and I've been like desiring to hear you, and you pulled through. I'm going to choose that. So I said, no, dude. He showed me I know you have the pain in your hip. He showed it to me. And then the guy broke. It's like, oh yeah, I was in a car wreck a few weeks ago, and I have all these bolts and pins, and it hurts to walk. And I'm like, well, good. There it is. And Jesus, by the way, now he wants to heal you of it. Let me pray for you. Put my hand on his hip. Awkward, but I didn't care. And but anyways, that was just an example, and I'm super thankful to have that story. I'm thankful that I, in that moment, chose, like, no, just stick to his word, no matter what it looks like, because that was an extremely sketchy decision making period, because it's like, man, I could just leave and avoid this thing, which is what Daniel's message was about yesterday. Like, I could avoid this awkwardness, or I could really push in, you know. But that was what I shared yesterday. That's what I'm in right now. I'm just having to, like, I will frequently go back through my dreams and stuff and look at what he's told me, you know, and stick to him. And I will continue to do that as well. It's an interesting space to be in, but it's really not that much different than the gas station trip of, okay, I've got a choice to make. What word am I going to stick to? You know, you want to turn to the dark side and flip everything, or do you just want to stick to his word and be patient? You know, be patient, have faith, have hope, and be patient in that, and trust what he told you. So,
what would you say to people? What would you say to people who feel like they are stuck at that crossroads and they feel like they haven't heard the Lord on something, and like they want to move in faith, but they feel that there's like he's not speaking about things, or they feel like they they feel like it's blank, like they're not getting anything. What would you say to that?
That's another thing that I've been on too. It's like, quit depending on the outcome, you know, or on a direction even. It's like, just sit down and chill. Just rest and relax. And it's like, maybe it's not, you know, don't put so much into that. Maybe you need to camp out for a little bit. I've kind of found a relief in that too, to a degree. You kind of let go of stuff. Sometimes you got to let go of things. Maybe that's the point. Maybe if you don't hear him, it's like, hey, I want you to drop your stuff for a little bit. Mm-hmm. So that's what I would say, is maybe consider, and it's easy to get stuck on direction or like outcomes, like we've talked about, results. But maybe there's just a wider paradigm and another way to look at stuff. It's like, maybe it's not about that at all. Maybe, and it really could be as simple as like, it ain't time to hear anything or do anything right now. It's time to just chill out. I would say consider chilling out. Consider sitting and resting, and it's also a good opportunity to talk to him about everything. Like, I don't feel like you're talking to me, and this is not happening, and, you know, just talking to him, being honest.
Yeah. I think for me, a major key that I have been sitting in is like, you know, that scripture is talking about when the disciples asked the Lord, like, teach us how to pray.
Yeah.
And it was like, when you pray like this, like, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. I parked on that scripture.
Yeah.
And a couple of things that I have felt, and it's more like practice. Like, this is the practice of the way, is if you feel like you're not getting direction, or you feel like you're stuck in that, I don't know what that looks like, or I don't know where to go, or I'm not seeing this breakthrough, or like, walk through scripture, one, because it is him.
Yeah.
But also, like, think about him.
Yeah.
It's his presence. That's the goal of life, is his presence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like separating anything that doesn't feel like him, like his fruit or his nature, separating that out.
Yeah.
And then, like, give us this day our daily bread. I've been sitting in that thought of like, he is the bread of presence.
Yeah.
So it's not even like, Lord, give me a word for the day, or Lord, give me a dream that I can chew on, or it's like, let me feel your presence.
Yeah.
Let me sit in your presence. Let me just sit with you, because you are the breakthrough. Like, your person is. more than anything in the world,
Mm-hmm.
more than any desire that we are craving or desiring, or even our basic needs,
Yeah.
like where we're like, Lord, I don't know if this need will ever come through.
Yeah.
It's like, well, in his presence, it will.
Yeah.
Like with his presence, it is.
Yeah, that's good.
He
That
brings
is the
it.
point. Yeah.
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 And it's, when you were just saying some of that stuff, I was like, yeah, dude, those are freaking massive keys.
Mm-hmm.
But even just turning everything into Thanksgiving too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you'd shared that one thing about like you felt that the season of Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
And I felt so strongly just this like impartation of like Thanksgiving is what brings the gifts, really.
Yeah.
Because that's the Christmas time.
Yeah.
And so I've been practicing. I literally have gone into thanking the Lord for every accusation that has been spoken against me.
Yeah.
Like genuine thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I've been going into like genuine thanksgiving for the pains of rejection that I've felt.
Yeah.
I've been going like every single thing I'm like choosing to be thankful for.
Yep.
And there's like this lightness that's come over me. That's like where normally I would have those, runaway train thoughts where your brain just kind of gets lost into hopelessness and not in an avoidance, like, oh Lord, I thank you so much, but like sitting in thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It's for all the negative things.
Mm-hmm.
It's been weird.
Yeah.
It feels very counterintuitive to the natural mind.
Yeah.
But there's something that unlocked for me in it.
Yeah. That's good. That's a good one. Yeah, to sit in the thankfulness.
Of even the negativity. Not like...
Yeah, no, for sure.
I don't know.
That sounds like what we talked about like a year ago or so, but being...
Probably so.
Like how it's or whatever. Like how it's a privilege to be here, and it's a privilege to feel everything. Good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. That's what it reminds me of as you're saying that.
Yeah, even like hopelessness.
Yeah.
Like I was sitting in this whole concept of like, I am so thankful for the hopelessness that sometimes washes over me.
Yeah.
Because I can see the stark contrast of hope.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't feel or be immersed in this hopelessness,
yeah,
I would never fully be able to see the contrast of what true hope is.
And it gives you compassion too. It gives you compassion for other people.
Yeah.
But also, when you're through it or whatever, if you cling to him during it, then you can come out of it with some keys and authority in it. Compassion and authority. It's like, I know what you feel like, and I'm here to tell you, like, it's, stick to him in it.
Mm-hmm. It makes me think of like how Jesus went into the depths of hell.
Yeah.
And actually took back the keys. It makes me think of that. Like this is almost like our pathway.
Like we're supposed to go there.
Yeah, we have to go into these dark things.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking naughty things,
Sure.
I mean, some people just end up there, but
yeah.
But to be able to extract the keys out of this,
yeah,
it's so essential, not just for humanity and to unlock creation and to unlock our brothers and sisters, but to also unlock parts of you that couldn't be unlocked unless you went into it,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a beautiful thing that the privilege of like getting to know him, the presence in the midst of it all.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And finding out that that's always there and available too. It's like something you can always tap into.
Mm-hmm.
He's not far away. He doesn't flutter away. He's always there and available.
I feel
Just
like
sit
that's
with you.
such a strong part of his heart
Mhm.
is how much he wants us all to recognize that he is in our very midst. I've been
Yeah.
thinking about the word that the Lord gave me, Kali.
Yeah.
I don't even know how long ago it was, probably 2 years ago. But he told me the tree of life is in your midst.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sitting in that reality that all of life and life abundant is already in my midst. It's not
Yeah.
something to obtain. It's not something to like grasp hold of.
Yeah.
It's like something to be in and abide
Yeah.
in.
And it's not something you can scare away too. Like that's one thing I've been kind of seeing too is just on the news and in person everywhere, people are kind of sometimes believe this or afraid that he's left, you know, that his presence is left because you scared him off. He did something wrong that you don't even know what it was, and he just like left. And did I tell you about that really stupid song
No.
that I heard? I heard it on vacation, and then I looked it up. And it's actually a really popular. There's some popular people that sing this song, and it's about. Of course, it's political. It's about God saving the country, kind of thing. But it's about how we need to. I don't remember, beg and plead and like stomp on the ground and stuff and cry. How we have to do all of this stuff and beg him to save it, which comes from a place of he's not even here. He's left the building, and we need to really do everything we can, strive to get him back. It's just a sad deal, but and even with the all the political stuff coming up too, like everybody living Old Testament style. Like we don't want God, we want a king. We need a king. We need a middleman. We need somebody to carry the country and we need that God's man in the White House. Putting all of that effort and desire and hope into not even into God or what he can do in your life, but into another person to do it for you.
Into
Real
a
Old
system.
Testament style. And then people that, even long time, people who've been Christians forever, teachers and stuff, not even aware of like the whole point of what Jesus did and, how he lives, he dwells within us now, that kind of thing, how it's not about a king or a prophet or a priest. But it's just one of those things. It seems like it's easy to forget for a lot of people. Like, by the way, did you finish reading the Bible? Did you see how it turned out, once it starts to get into the Gospels of the New Testament? Did you see that part? Because it changes everything. Yeah, Revelation. It changes the whole thing. And a lot of people just start living like, you missed something. I don't know why I went on that tangent. But this song of God being distant and not present. He does want us to know how close he is.
Like we have to chase him down.
Right, yeah. And be careful what we do or he'll fly off.
That was something kind of in that vein I was thinking about too. I was just writing about it. But I think like the religious machine makes people transactional.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah, it does.
In the same vein of like, hey, we've got to contend for God not to fly off. We've got to bring him back in.
Yeah.
That whole mentality of like, we have to go save people.
Yeah.
We've got to be the ones to be the rescuers, to bring God back, to bring heaven on earth. Like, it can be such a weird way to creep in to like people are transactional. I've got to go give this word to somebody so I can get something from God.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the rivers are clogged in me. I need to go give somebody a word so I'm better.
Yeah.
But it's this, from an unhealthy mindset, it can totally be that it's transactional and not relational. And I think when you see God as this transactional deity, the contract versus the covenant.
Yep.
it can taint so much, and it creates, I think, pressure. I think it's what creates anxiety. I think it's what creates hopelessness. I think,
Yeah.
Because we feel like we have to do something to get something from him.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we're like, you know, we need more of him, so we need to spend 3 hours a day in our Bible reading.
Right. Yeah.
Not just because of the joy and delight that it unlocks you, you
Yeah.
know,
Just to be
but just
with him. Yeah.
transactional. I was just thinking about this transactional mindset that we can get into, myself included, you know,
Yeah.
without even fully knowing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, like, you know, you and I were talking about this the other day on the phone, of why sometimes, like, being with people, being around a lot of people that feel like they need a lot of stuff gets exhausting.
Yeah.
Because it feels so transactional.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know, you can put like trying to get your needs met, or trying to get this met, or trying to do this. Like, it's still that transactional way of being.
Yeah. And to those people, I mean, even that's another place to put what you said of like, he's near, he's close, like cast your cares on him, kind of thing. That's one thing a lot of people don't do, is they get somebody else, you know, you don't connect to him. People will look for other people. And if there's a place for that to land, an ear that will listen, then it turns into, and you can tell this, like there's such a desire and a need for connection with a lot of people. And we've talked about this before. Somebody will start talking to you and just cling to you and not even give you a way out of it. But it's like some of us are safe places to land and to listen. And so they'll just like, once they find that and are attracted to it and realize they can land there, it's like pleasant to them. And it's like, oh, I could stay here all day. And it's like, wait a minute, it shouldn't, or leeching, or just kind of vomiting your stuff onto people. But it's like, that's kind of what he's for, for the most part. But it's been another one, obviously. Another thing. But I realized it over the past couple of weeks, and just different things and stuff, is people talk to you and overstay. I say overstay the welcome. I don't want to seem like a whatever, but it's just like it turns into, oh my gosh, you just really have a desire for a real connection and somebody to just listen to you. Like there's really a void there.
I heard somebody talk about that the other day.
Really?
Maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Was it me?
No.
Okay.
No, it was this podcast, and they were talking about emotional health.
Yeah.
And what does it look like to be emotionally healthy?
Yeah.
And they were saying, ways that you can tell if you're emotionally healthy is, do you know how other people experience you? Are you aware of how other people experience you? Are you aware of how you experience you?
Yeah.
Are you
wow,
aware
that's
of all the
interesting.
things going on? And then do you have the ability to articulate in any given moment? Like, can you share, like, if you're deeply triggered, can you instantly realize, like, oh, that's where that thing, like, whoa, I feel, or did it take you like a week to figure it out? But those 3 components I thought were brilliant. Of just like guides for people to be able to find, you know what, I don't know how I always come off towards people.
Yeah.
And not in a hypervigilance way where I can, like,
Yeah.
realize kind of your patterns.
Yeah. Breaking up just a little bit.
Oh, man.
Just a little bit.
I was
Hold
afraid
on.
of that.
It's been doing good this whole time. May just be a little
What about
wave.
now?
You're good now. Better. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. But I just thought it was a beautiful way to kind of gauge the emotional health.
Yeah.
Of like, do you recognize when people are experiencing you as a leech?
Yeah.
Like, there's no shame in it. Just
Sure.
are you able to recognize that?
Are you aware? Yeah.
You recognize when you vomit on people.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And just like, oh, okay, next time I won't do that.
Yeah. Huh.
But even then, like, being
That's
thankful, like, you normally, the way that people are engaging with you is normally if you feel safe enough around that person.
Yeah.
To kind of let your crap be seen. But that's where I think the Thanksgiving comes in, is like, there's no shame, just like, Lord, thank you that you've shown me that sometimes I can leech.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just vomit.
Yeah.
Whatever's happening.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's a powerful place too, to be able to realize that kind of stuff. Being aware, yeah.
Well, I just think that it's such a massive key.
Yeah.
Emotional health. Like,
yeah, I think so too.
Emotionally healthy, I think, plays directly into being physically healthy, and like being okay with the fact that you may feel pain in something.
Yeah.
You may feel exposed in something.
Mm-hmm.
But inviting the presence into that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I need to list those 3 questions down. That's a good one. We can put that in the show notes there. That's a good practice. Not are you leeching on people? Are you vomiting? Just the self-awareness. What did you say? How am I aware of how I interact with others?
But how are people experiencing me? Yes,
that's it. Yeah. Yeah. Let's do those one more time. I'm going to write them down, and I'm going to write those down, and we can just go ahead and recite it again so that we have it. I'm ready when you are.
Blanking on the third one. But it's how are people experiencing me?
Okay.
And how am I experiencing people, basically?
Okay. And one of them was like, how are you about yourself? Am I aware of how I interact with myself, or something like that, or how I think about myself, or I can dig them back up, but those are some good questions.
Because I don't remember word for word.
Okay, yeah, I'll go back.
I have short-term memory loss.
Welcome to the club.
It's called pregnancy brain. That's what people keep telling me.
No, I'm not. Yeah.
Are you pregnant?
I don't think so. I hope not. If I am, there's something seriously wrong. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything else? Is there anything you want to like release or let fly?
I can't think of anything right now. What about you?
I just had this sense, and I know we didn't fully dive into this, but I kind of felt this sense of like, if people are feeling like they're not able to fully connect with the Lord, or they're not able to fully sense His presence in things.
Yeah.
This is so, and I don't know, take it to the Lord, but I just felt this profound sense of like,
podcast.
Where can you draw boundaries?
Yeah.
I felt like there was certain boundaries that the Lord actually wanted to put in play for people.
Yeah.
That could actually facilitate the river flowing in one direction.
Right.
Almost like ask the Lord, like, where can I put in boundaries?
Mm-hmm.
Is it with people? Is it with my time? Is it with
time's a good one. Yeah.
Just things that you're willing to do or not willing to do anymore.
Yeah. That's true.
It was just a weird sense that kind of came over me, like, there's a key there, I think, for people in practicing the presence.
Yeah.
Is boundaries. So.
Yeah. Very true.
Explore that or throw it away. Either one. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good. It's good.
Maybe it's just for me.
Cool. Nope. I think it's a good one. I will take it. Cool.
All right, guys. I know this was short and sweet, but James and I both have additional fun things to jump to.
Obligations. Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of time boundaries.
Yeah.
Just
and
kidding.
I think we have a guest this week too. I need to connect with. I need to tell you or get with you on that, coordinate that. But
yeah.
And I'm on two other little like some show podcasts too this week.
Very cool.
I'll be dropping, in front of some other audiences. That's always fun. You never know who's
dropping dimes.
Anyways. Yeah, dropping dimes and pennies. Did I tell you? Yeah, it's a long story. Never mind. Speaking of pennies and tokens and coins and stuff like that. Another time.
It's good.
Cool.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Ancient Way podcast, drop us a like, share with your friends, share with your family. And if you'd like to support us and what we are doing, and you would like to play a direct role in our growth and things that we do in the future,
we have a donation spot at the bottom of our show notes. So you can click on that, give however much you want. We appreciate absolutely everything. We appreciate our listeners. And everybody that's already come alongside and encouraged us, and even everybody that's been on our show. So thanks, guys.